The inbound call is so important. These sellers are already interested in your offer. They're either really good or they're really bad. They're calling to tell you to take them off the do not call list, or they're calling to ask you questions about how they can sell their home. And they're probably gonna ask you, how much would you offer? These are so important. These calls are probably the most important in real estate lead generation. I'm gonna show you a few steps that you can use today so you can master the inbound call.
We know what it's like to have a negative bank account. With mouths to feed and bills to pay, we understand the entrepreneurial struggle. It's not a get-rich-quick process, but this piece of paper changed everything.
The first step to taking on an inbound call is to literally ask why they want to sell. That's step one. You need to figure out why they want to sell. You want to figure out where their property resides. You need to figure out when they want to sell. You need to find a way to get an appointment. That's also going to be an indicator if they're really urgent in selling. And you need to get a price out of them. So this is how I take a phone call. Hi, thanks for calling. This is Andrew. They'll probably say, hey, I got your mail. I got your message. Great, sounds good. How can I help you? I want to sell my house. Excellent, excellent. Where is your home located? It's located at 123 Main Street. Excellent. And when would you like to sell your home? As soon as possible. Sounds great. Is there a time I can come see the property? Yes, today. Wonderful. I will be there. Is there a ballpark price you're looking for your property if we were to close quickly on your terms, at your speed, cover all closing costs, use no realtors, and pay cash, and buy it as is? Yeah, $100,000 is what I need to make. Perfect, I will be there, thank you. That's a very watered down call, but that's a really good motivated seller lead. Now those are a dime a dozen, they don't come often, but you'll see many sellers follow that pattern if you lead them down the road. This to me, I call this like the road to a deal. This is the road to a deal of an incoming call, okay? All right, you don't want to go too fast, because if you go too fast, probably run them off the road. If you go too slow, you're never gonna make it. You need everyone to go the speed limit. And what is the speed limit? Well, the seller's motivation and urgency. That's the speed limit. Sometimes you'll get calls that say, I need to sell this house. I'm in pre-foreclosure. I got 7 days to close. And you're gonna go the same speed. Okay, great, sounds good. I can be there today, is that okay? Absolutely. Okay, great. What's the address? And then you go from there. If the seller's not too motivated, then you're going to slow it down, and you don't want to be so motivated to purchase. You want to be reluctant. One of the greatest investors in the game who takes inbound calls very well is Darren. I want to ask him a few questions in regards to the inbound call and how he closes so many deals. Darren, thanks, man.
Appreciate you. Thanks for the intro.
Absolutely, buddy. Question for you. How many calls do you take a day?
Man, probably 30 to 40, I would say.
Okay.
On the average.
And of those calls, how many of those people are actually interested in hearing what services you can offer and buying their home?
I say about 20 of them want to hear what I have to say, but probably 10 to 15 are actually really serious about selling.
How do you go through the phone call? What are some questions that you ask in the beginning of the phone call?
Okay, so one of the first things I kind of ask is price. Do they have a price in mind? Another thing that I ask is the condition of the property, so I can kind of get an idea. Do I want to offer a cash offer first, or do I want to go with a seller finance first?
Okay, very good. So you ask the condition of the property?
Yep.
Is this going to help you understand the motivation of the seller?
One of the questions I ask to try to understand the motivation of the seller is kind of their tone. Like, how do they sound? Like, do they sound like they actually, like they want to sound now? Are they excited? Are they kind of anxious? But a question that I kind of get to see if they're actually serious is, I would either ask for an appointment or if they're able to close within 30 days.
One of the questions I love, or I guess one of the biggest rebuttals that I get from sellers when I ask about condition, they say, oh, I just remodeled the kitchen. It has beautiful granite everywhere. I put an arm and a leg in everything I did in that house. I put about $80,000, $50 million into the home. What do you say when sellers say that?
I kind of ignore it, to be honest, because that really doesn't mean anything to me. They may think it may have an effect on the price, but it doesn't. And I don't try to get in an argument with them, because that could stop a deal from happening.
Excellent, I love that. Whenever I hear people tell me how much work they put into it, I actually congratulate them. I linger. I let it say, and everybody's got their own style. Darren closes a lot of deals. In fact, I think he closes the most deals in the company. So everyone's got their own style. Something that I say is, wow, that's excellent. Looks like you put a lot of effort and energy into your home. We're definitely ones who can purchase your home. We can buy it in many different ways. Is there a time that I can come over and take a look at the property and see what you've done to the home? And that is when they say, well, I want to hear what you have to offer first. A lot of times, and I shouldn't change my voice, but a lot of times they say, well, what would you offer me? What's the best offer you can make on my house? What do you say when someone says, Darren, what are you gonna give me for my home?
First thing I do is, because if there's a chance for a possible creative deal like a seller finance lease option, if they want market value, I don't like to offend them with a low offer. I want to see if I have that option first. So if they ask me that, typically I don't want to throw out a low offer first. So I'll say, hey, you know, are you open to any rent to own for 5 years or maybe a few years? And if they say yes to that, then I'll give them probably about $10,000 below market value. Say, okay, I could pay around this price.
Perfect. And so that's a good way to gauge them. They say, yeah, that's something I would accept, but you still haven't given the cash offer yet. Yeah. Yet you kind of figured out over the phone that they don't even really want a cash offer, or they probably received 1 million cash offers.
Right.
They're already kind of giving you those vital signs.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of targets, or there's a lot of alerts in a phone call that tells you that they need to sell now. Their tone, their speed, keywords such as need to sell, must sell, need to get rid of the property. When you hear those, what do you do?
I'm jumping inside.
Right.
But I'm trying to stay calm. Like, I don't want them to see how excited and how happy I am. I make it seem like, you know, it's just a regular conversation. Because I don't want to show my cards. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey man, tell us about your favorite lead that came from an inbound call that turned into a deal.
I think my favorite one was the one we did in Glendale. I remember the guy name was Chris, because it was real smooth. It was real easy, you know. He wanted to sell, and you could tell the urgency. So you could tell with his urgency. So right when he gave me the address, I went and did the research. I ran some comps, and I seen that the price that he was asking for was like 75%. So I'm like, we're basically here. Like, the deal's here, because you know that's not their bottom number. So I made the appointment, went straight there. It needed some work. It just was real smooth and real easy. And when I offered that, he accepted it, and that was it. And I think that closed in a week.
Like 7 days to cash.
Yeah. So
would you say inbound calls are important?
Oh yeah.
Are they more important than cold calls?
Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, if someone gets a text and they say, oh, someone wants to buy my house, some people, they don't text, they just call right away.
Sure.
So yeah, they're probably most important.
Because they're actually motivated.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Hey man, thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate
problem,
you.
man.
You're a killer on the inbound calls. Let's keep closing deals.
Definitely, bro.
Thank you.
Yep.
We want to give you guys a blueprint. You're going to see a link where you can download this blueprint. It's going to give you all the necessities in mastering the inbound call.